It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen. It's time for the Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Oh yeah. The Trucker John Livestream. Come along for a good time. It's a good time, good time, good time, good time. Trucker John Livestream. Gonna be a good time. Gonna be the time of your life. Gonna talk some shit. Hush your mouth. Gonna talk a little smack. Gonna talk whatever comes of it. You're gonna always wanna come back. Well yeah, it's the Trucker John Livestream. He's the biggest, baddest, funniest mother you've ever seen. Watch your mouth, he's headed south. Not even sure what that means, but if it's one thing I know, the Trucker John Livestream is the best thing you've ever seen.
Project 2025 would dismantle democracy as we know it.
He says, "You're not going to be a dictator, are you?" I said, "No, no, no, other than day one."
Is a vision of implementing a startlingly authoritarian form of the U.S. government.
Same thing with the unions. They get their little 5%. They get another 2%. They get another 3%, 4%. Then all of a sudden they're making more money than the people that own the company.
Do you do larger cuts, corporate cuts?
Yeah, I was planning on doing it. In fact,
You believe in punishment for abortion, yes or no, as a principle?
there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
What's at stake here is democracy itself. It's now Donald Trump's party. And if he's elected, the consequences will be catastrophic.
Donald Trump loves to say,
Fake news.
was it fake news when Donald Trump was recorded bragging about sexually assaulting women?
When you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Was it fake news when Trump called Mexicans rapists?
They're rapists.
Was it fake news when Trump said he was pro-choice until right before he ran for president?
I'm very pro-choice.
Was it fake news when Trump had his clothing line manufactured in China?
They're beautiful ties.
They are great ties.
The ties are made in where? China? Ties are made in China.
Was it fake news when Trump said women should be punished for having an abortion?
Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
There has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Was it fake news when Trump refused to defend U.S. soldiers after Putin and Russia put bounties on their heads?
It never reached my desk.
Was it fake news when Trump defended white supremacists?
Very fine people on both sides.
Was it fake news when Trump spit on the memory of John Lewis?
I don't know John Lewis. He chose not to come to my inauguration.
Do you find him impressive?
The truth is, none of it was fake news. The truth is that Donald Trump is a no-good liar.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for. Trucker John. Testing, 1, 2, 3. This looks a little crooked to me. I don't know. It looks a little crooked. I'm just saying. Camera looks a little crooked to me. I don't know. Let me know. Hey, can I get a thumbs up in the chat? Thumbs up for if you guys can hear me okay? And a thumbs down if you can't hear me okay, I guess. Hey, can I get some drumsticks and bugles? Hey, we got some thumbs ups coming up. All right, you guys can hear me okay? I got the AC cranking. I don't know. Actually, here we are, 11:26 a.m. Pacific time zone. Beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. It's only 67 degrees outside. I guess what I should do is I should open some windows or something. But it's like hot in this apartment. So I got the AC cranking, even though it's only 67 degrees outside. Maybe when the show's over, I'll open some windows. I don't want to have the windows open now. Although with my tiny little mic that I'm so proud of, you might not even hear any outside noise. Oh, wait, it's too late now. I'm in the chair. Just saying, I'm in the chair. So, you know, it is what it is. We're just stuck with it. Let's go with it. All right, guys, thanks for being here. Hey, look, we got 19 watching, 17 thumbs ups. That means 2 people have not given me some thumbs ups. The thumbs ups. The likes. It's about the likes. Mr. Bob Newell, first in the driver's lounge, says, I can't hear you. Jolie, hey, Jolie's here. Thank you, Jolie, for being here. Trucker John was here. William says, hello, Trucker John, and everyone else. Hello back at you. William says, someone came to my door and checked my registration. I'm good to go. Wow, they came to your door to do that. Wow. MJ Daniel, do you know that the kidney has a very special place in the heart? Oh, and the shark. I totally messed up your joke. That's what I get for anticipating the word before I read it, you know. I'll do it over again. Okay. This is from MJ Daniel. Did you know that the kidney has a very special cut? Take 3 from MJ Daniel. Did you know that the kidney has a very special place in the shirt? All right, 1 take wonder here, or a 3 take wonder. Witchy woman's here. Witchy woman. Hey, beautiful mother trucklers. This is what I'm reading chats. For those of you later on might watch the show and don't have the chat replay going. Most of what I say is I'm just reading the chats. Witchy woman says, hey, beautiful mother trucklers, I am on time for once. All right. Well, thanks for being here. Glad you're here. Glad you're on time. Isolde Zinn. Hey, Isolde Zinn says, hey, all getting ready to go vote. Awesome. Awesome. Hey, yeah, how many people in the chat have already voted? If you've already voted, let me know. We do have early voting going on around the country. MJ Daniels saying hi to Jolie. Let's see, I'm just William's here. Hey, William, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the Driver's Lounge as we hang out after the House Sparks show this morning. We're doing an after show hangout. But of course, this live stream is open to everybody, even if you didn't come out from the House Sparks show. Just saying. Hey, Nick Rich here, like number 11. Good day, folks. Good day. Wes Webb is here, but going to look for something to eat. You sound like you're going to go forage. Wes Webb is going to go forage for something to eat because he's hungry. He's hungry like a wild beast. He has a hunger. Yeah. Mr. Bob Newell says that Trump wants to be a dictator. Not a dictator. My hair is just all over the place. What am I going to do? What is one to do? I probably should go get a haircut. That would probably solve everything. Which woman hit it and quit it is okay in this instance. Mr. Bob Newell, yo, Trucker John, sup? Sup with you, Mr. Bob Newell? Sup? Sup, homie? Yeah. Witchy woman says she forgot to say hi and big hugs to my new online sweetheart because Emergency Real Truth has ghosted me. That's not nice. That son of a bitch. Matt Spark is here. Hey, Matt Spark. It says Gina? I don't know. Gina. 11. Nick Rich says 11:25. I'm about 6 minutes behind, as per usual. I'm going to skip on down. Everyone hit that. I'm still at the part where people are giving me thumbs ups about the sound. Stephanie B2. Hey, good to see Stephanie B2. So glad you could join us today in the chat room and the driver's lounge, as I like to call it. Nick Rich says it's 66 degrees in Toronto. Good old Toronto. Good old Toronto. Matt Sparks says undercompensating microphone. Hey, look, it's not the size that matters. It's the performance. I just knocked into the camera stand there. That was not an earthquake. We're not having an earthquake. That was me and my big foot. 72 says it's 64 in Central California. So it seems like we're all cooling down a little bit. Witchy woman says it's warm in Virginia, 71, but you are 3 hours ahead of us, so our daytime high is expected to be about 77 degrees today. So in about 3 hours, we might be at certainly over 70, probably. 72 voted 2 weeks ago. All right. Good for you. Mr. Bob Newell, I voted for marijuana, for abortions, and for Kamala. And that's interesting. I'm gonna do something later on in a few minutes here. That I want to do a little experiment, and I'll tell you about that in a few minutes. Robert Perez, hey Robert Perez, good to see you. Top of the morning to Trucker John and all you lovely liberals out and about. Well, good to see you, Robert Perez. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge. Delta Downs here. Hello, Delta. Hello, Dee Dee. Good to see you. Nick Rich is saying hello. Hey, Myra Little. Hi from Bonnie Old Scotland. And I will not even try a Scottish accent. I'm tempted, but I can barely do an Irish accent. So I know I cannot do a Scottish accent. See, there, I can't do it. All I can think of is Scotty or whatever from, was it Scotty from Star Trek? try to talk like him, and I'll spare you all. I'll spare you all that one. MJ Daniel voted no on every initiative here in Washington. They were all written and backed by the GOP. Wow. And they probably tried to fool people into thinking that they were, at least on some of those, that they were, not GOP-ish. I know that's what we have here. We have question 3. I think they call it question instead of proposition. I'm pretty sure that's Republican-backed, and it has a lot of people fooled, including the indivisible chapter here in Nevada. They seem to be backing 3. I'm just going to tell you right now, folks. Trucker John says no on 3 here in Nevada. No on 3 if you live in Nevada. Don't be fooled by indivisible, who I agree with probably 98% of the time. But I guess this is part of the 2%. I don't even know if it's that low. I don't know, but anyhow, West Webb's there. Okay, Tawada 106. It always sounds like I'm saying like a radio station. Hey, welcome to Tawada 106 here, playing all the hits all the time. It's 67 degrees here at Tawada 106. Anyhow, Tawada 106 says, my little fun fact, in Santa Cruz County, California, is a town called, there's a town called Bonnie Doon and reservoir named Lac Lamond. Or is it Los Lamond? Los Lamond. I don't know. Which woman says, again, I proclaim, your tiny mic is adorable and works as intended. Can confirm. Well, thank you, Witchy. Thanks for confirming that. I'm not even sure. Did I even finish that thought? I was saying, well, yeah. MJ Daniel says, we got our ballots last Saturday, voted and returned them on Sunday. I checked the SOS web site, and it shows received and accepted, so we are good here. Awesome. That is really awesome. West Webb, if I don't know the judges, I vote against them. Yeah, like here, I was trying to do, I did some Google searches for some of them, and there were some judges you could tell were pretty maggoty and pretty right-wingy. And so from what I was able to find, I was able to get enough information. I think I could make my decisions. Just, I'm not saying you got to be, a flaming liberal, Bernie Sanders, AOC type person to be a judge. But if there's any hints of all that you're a maggot, you for sure ain't getting my vote. And if you're really, even just hardcore right wing, I'm not going to vote for you. So yeah, sometimes you got to do a little searching. The Big Blue Guide, I guess, gives some recommendations. I did look at that Big Blue voter guide, and I'm not 100% pleased with it, because in that guide for the Nevada, since I live in Nevada, you put your area code in, and it will give you the big blue voter guide or whatever for your area, for your state or whatever, and your district. And the one thing I was really disappointed in was the way they presented question 3, and they didn't come out and really say one way or the other, and they just showed who you could see who backs it or who is endorsing it, and they had, for both yes and no, they looked like at least Democratic liberal organizations that were both for and against it. So it was really confusing. I voted no, and I'm like I say, I've gone onto the Indivisible website and the Facebook page, and I've voiced my opinion there. I know the person who has that Indivisible page on Facebook. I think that's the area leader. She seems to be very much in favor of question 3. We've gone around and around, because this has been on the ballot before. We've gone around and around and around on that, and so I always make sure to at least have my viewpoint put on that Facebook page, so that hopefully, and it did lose. It's been losing, but they keep putting it on the ballot, and eventually it's going to win. Probably, I don't know. But even if it does win, then it has to go through a whole thing of changing the Constitution, the state Constitution, and that's a whole other process. So anyhow, but I'm just against it. I'm against jungle primaries. I'm against open primaries. Totally against it. This is all coming from right wing backing. It's all Republican backed. They want to interfere with our elections. They want to interfere with picking our nominees. I think it's horse shit. And if they would just be honest about it, maybe I wouldn't be so mad about it. But they try to present this argument that people's votes are being denied. That people who are independent or not in a party, their vote is being denied, and that is complete and utter horse shit. They can vote just like everybody else. In the primaries, they can vote for all the things that they can vote for in the primaries, just not my party's nominee. If you're not a registered member of my party, you should not be able to vote for my nominee. Everything else you can vote for. So their vote is not being denied. And in the general election, everyone can vote for the nominees at that point, right? That's how it works. So I really, really, every time I hear these ads on TV about them crying about, oh, my vote is, I'm not able to vote. I'm not, it's one person, one vote. It makes me fucking want to throw a brick through the TV. I mean, it pisses me off to no end. And I will keep on this, and I will keep on this every time it comes up. So the Indivisible, I think, is a pretty good organization. But if you're going to have a chapter here in Nevada that's proposing or endorsing or supporting something like that, then I'm going to lose a little respect for you. That's all I got to say about that. And you know what? I got to go check my air conditioner. I don't think this air conditioner is working. Hang on, I'll be right back. Something's wrong with the AC. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just running hot today because I go over there and I feel cool air coming out of it. I don't know. Maybe talking about Proposition 3 this gets me all worked up. All right, so let's see. Where are we at in the chat here? MJ Daniel says a radio station back when I was in high school changed from rock to pop. And in the summer, the DJ would always say, it's suntan turnover. It's suntan. For some reason, I can't read MJ's post without making a mistake. It's suntan turnover time. So obnoxious. Stephanie Boutu says, I have a bread maker that makes cakes and jams and even meatloaf. Wow. Who knew? Who knew? Alrighty. Let's see what else you guys got to say. Wes Webb says in Illinois, you can change your party on primary day. Yeah, go ahead and do that. If that's the way you want to do it, then do it. We have a same day registration here also. You can register right up to November 5th. And when you do that, when you register, you can register as whatever you want. And I think that's the way it should be done. If you want to vote in whatever parties, well, this is general election now, but I guess we have same day registration for our primaries too. And if that's the way you want to do it, then fine, do it. Hey, Mr. Spock's here, talking about chickens and stuff. By the way, live long and prosper, Mr. Spock. Witchy Woman says, I liked voting for Nimrata. in the Republican primary because we knew Biden would easily win the primary. I'm still against it. Walter Makarovich says, "What good?" Well, I don't know. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, Walter Makarovich says, "Good morning, Chugger John. Why is it that presidential lunatic allowed to go on national TV and gaslight America about Jan 6 being a lovely day?" I don't know. First Amendment, maybe. I don't know. Zoltazin says, "I'm researching the ballot initiatives, and one seems like a repeat from last election." Yeah, if they don't, sometimes if they don't win, they'll just keep doing it until like this Prop 3 here. It's been on the ballot for the last few elections, and I think they're just going to keep doing it until the goddamn thing wins. Witchy Woman says they have same day registration in Virginia finally. MJ Daniel, that station used to play good album rock. We went on vacation, and when we got back, they were playing Michael Jackson and Madonna. Yeah, that sucks when you have a good station that you like, and then overnight they change it, and it's it's not what you like anymore. Nick Rich, can I be a cash register? Delta Dawn says, I live in Ohio. I voted for the abortion rights amendment last year. I went to vote early. They wouldn't let me because I have an Indiana driver's license. Were you registered in Ohio? Did you register in Ohio? See, that's the thing. If you're registered to vote, and you get cleared by the state, your state's Secretary of State or whoever does that, handles that, then you should be in the voter log, and you should be in. Wes Webb's still listening, eating a salad. So it was foraging. Working on computers. Which Woman, I can't type today, so don't feel bad, John. You can't type and I can't read. It's a dangerous combination. Hey, Tim Farrell's here. Shh, I'm trying to nap. Tim Farrell, one of our resident Tims. Joseph Winnie's here. Hey, Joseph, good to see you. Ranked choice voting on the ballot in Oregon. Yeah. Now, see, that's the thing. With this Proposition 3, they've combined issues. They've combined ranked choice voting and making it an open primary. Now, I have no problem with ranked choice voting whatsoever. But to me, those are two separate things. Ranked choice voting and an open jungle primary. Those are two separate things, and they should not be combined on a proposition. And that's what's sucking a lot of people in too, because a lot of people are in favor of ranked choice voting, as I am. But I'm saying that should be a separate proposition. The two have nothing to do with one another. And, it's like they're doing everything they can to suck voters in to vote for that goddamn thing. Delta Dawn, yes, I'm registered. See, that's the thing. When all these like voter ID people, they're just trying to be obstructionists because you've already registered. You're registered. You should be on the voter logbook. Like you go in, you tell them your name. They open the book. You sign the book because your name should be in there, and you sign next to it. That's how it's done in California. That's the way I always voted in California. That's the way it should be done. But then these states, they want to say you need to show ID at the polling place. But if you've already registered, you already did all that. The Secretary of State already checked out. You gave them your Social Security number. You gave them your driver's license number or your state ID number. You gave them your date of birth. You gave them all that shit. Your mother's maiden name. You gave them the place you were born. You gave them all that shit on your form. And then the Secretary of State, they vet all that shit, and then they send you back a little card to say, yes, here's your voter registration card. I mean, or not a voter registration card, but you get I always got a like for me, it would say Democratic Party. It was a little card they would send you, right? That's all you need, and you didn't even need to show that card. That just kind of verified that your registration went through. You're in the system, and you're able to vote. I never had to show ID, not one single time ever. Have I ever had to show ID at a polling place? And I voted almost all my life in California, and then the last few times I've been here in Nevada, I've never had to show ID at the polling place because I'm already vetted. I'm already registered. That's what registration means. Anyhow, Mike H is here. Good to see you. TJ, good to see you too, Mike. Thanks for joining us here in the old driver's lounge. MJ Daniel says, our system here in Washington is great. All I have to do is go to one website, put in my info, and I get whether I am registered and if my vote has been received. Yeah, it's the same thing here in Nevada, and I'm sure a lot of other states. You can follow your ballot and all that stuff. It's really a great system. Which woman says, you're all right, John? Two completely different issues. Yeah, and they've combined it onto the same proposition, and it's just ridiculous. Mike H says, hey, Jolie, I hope you had a great birthday. Yeah, by the way, it was Jolie's birthday the other day, and so I think we can still say happy birthday. I think we're still within the window. We're still within the window to do that. Jolie says, thanks, Mike. It was great. Glad you had a good day, Jolie. MJ Daniel, all mail-in voting and return post is paid, no lines or anything. That's the way to go, man. That's the way to do it. Hey, Rosanna's here. Good to see Rosanna. Thanks for joining us here in the driver's lounge. Rosanna says, I'm barely holding it together. Almost had another breakdown from dump madness. It took everything I had to get my ballot, fill it out, and mail it. Peace and love to everyone. Well, if nothing else, the dump madness should be a great motivating factor to get people to vote. You know, I mean, I know it's like we're all chomping at the bit to vote, get our votes in, and to get this motherfucker sent out to pasture, for God's sakes. Send his old diaper wearing fucking shitty ass out to pasture. The guy looks like shit. You know, they just kept, remember how they still rag on Biden, but before Biden stepped down from the race, all they could talk about was how bad Biden looked, and he was out of it, and he was, you know, losing his faculties or whatever. Look at fucking Trump, man. I mean, he is like this withered. He looks like a little withered up, dried up little prune, he's all hoarse, and he sounds really. His voice is very feeble. He's very feeble. He's a very feeble man, and that's who but they're sticking with him. But yeah, we cannot wait. I still haven't got mine in yet. My ballot is sitting on the counter, but I will do it. I will do it. And it's going to be a big Rovember. It's going to be a big everything Vember. Whatever you can put in front of Vember that's going to be motivating us to get to the polls. It's going to be there. It's going to be a huge turnout, I believe. And I think Kamala Harris is going to beat in the popular vote. I think she's going to beat Trump by 20 million votes. I really do. I don't know why I drum stung that. And by the way, speaking of Kamala Harris, my video that I took 2 months ago or so, when she came to Las Vegas, her and Tim Walz, that video has gotten 293,000 views, over 293,000 views. If you guys want to check it out, if you haven't seen it yet, this is when she was still pretty new into the campaign, and I went because I wanted to see what it was like, what the atmosphere was like, what the turnout would be like. There was, of course, Trump saying that her crowds were just AI generated and it was all fake. So I wanted to go there for myself and see, okay, let's see, motherfucker. And I went there, and there's like 15, 20,000 people cramming into this arena on a hot summer day. Everyone was was up for it. Everybody was like enthusiastic. It was a great time, and I have that on that video. It's the Harris Walls Las Vegas rally or something like that. But if you guys see that, if you come across it, or if you check out my videos, make sure you watch that and like and subscribe it. I think if I get to 300,000, I think I don't get a plaque, but I think I get just a little virtual, a little thing that says congratulations, from YouTube. Your video hit 300,000 or something like that. It's just, it's just a little thing you can post. That'd be cool. It's not a plaque. I would like to get a plaque, but like a real actual plaque that I could hang up over here. But it is just a little, a little GIF. So if you guys want to check that video out, maybe we can get those last 6,700 views. But we'll get there. We'll get to 300,000 on that one, because it's still getting views every day. It still gets 20 or 30, or sometimes I'll look at the analytics and sometimes it'll get another 100, and I'm like, whoa, because it's died down. It's the first few days it was kind of viral, and but now sometimes it'll only get 8 or 9 views. Sometimes it'll get 30 or 40. It's kind of weird. I guess it pops up some people's feeds, and they give it a little viewing. Anyhow, yeah. So check that one out if you can, and see if we can get to 300,000. That would be awesome. Let's see. Nick Rich says Don Old's cranial vacuum is obvious these days. Yeah, he's losing it, man. Donald Trump is fading on a fast fade, and if their argument was that Joe Biden was losing it and too old and losing his wits or whatever, then I don't know how you could not say the same thing about Donald Trump now. Joseph Winnie says, going to get a bottle of bourbon and celebrate. Oh yeah, on November 5th. Let's all do that. We should all. I should do a live stream, and we should all have our beverage of choice. Maybe our weed of choice, or whatever, and do that. Bella 150. Why 20 million? I don't know. That's what I think. I'm pulling that number right out of my ass. Well, basically because Biden beat him by in the popular vote, beat him by almost 8 million. I think 8 million votes. I think Kamala could at least double that. That would be 16, and then I just rounded up to 20. So, if you want to know why, that's why. That's the Trucker John thought process, I guess something like that. A little something like that. As old as Zen says, if Trump retook that person, woman, man camera test, he would fail now. He's gone. Yeah. Which woman, Joseph? You will need someone to help you with that bourbon. Nick Rich says, a bunch of emojis, something, John. Yeah, something, whatever it is. Tomcat, new here. Is it on your website? Tomcat, hey Tomcat, by the way, thanks for being here. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. It is on my YouTube channel. I don't really have a website, but it is on my YouTube channel, and it should pop up if you go to my channel. It's in my video collection. It should be right there. Mike H says, welcome, Tomcat. Well, thank you, Mike H, for welcoming our newest person in here. Joseph Winnie, I'd be honored to pull puff, sip, sip. Oh, to puff, sip, sip with you, woman. Let's see. CR's here. Hey, thumbs up, peace, and clapping, I think. Danielberry Sports Highlights. Morning, everybody. Morning back at you. Good to see DBSH here in the chat room, in the Driver's Lounge. Oh, there it is. Jolie, thank you so much. There's the link. So, was it Tomcat was asking? Yeah, Tomcat. There's the link. You can go on there and check it out. Like, subscribe, and share it. Or, you don't subscribe to it. You subscribe to me. But you can like it and share it. And if we can get to 300,000, that would be a nice little thing. Nick Rich says, Hal said he's doing a 24-hour stream on November 5th. Oh, that's right. He does those. So I guess we'll all be over there puffing and sipping. West Webb says, I have a bottle of Tito's my best friend brought me. I'll drink it whether Kamala wins or not. Yeah, it's like you're either going to win out of celebration, or you're going to win out of, or you're going to drink out of sorrow. Drown your sorrows. But I think it will be the first one, drinking out of celebration or whatever. Tomcat, thanks for the warm welcome. I'm a trucker also. Hey, Tomcat. All right. So are you over the road? Bella 150 says hello. Hello, Bella 150. Good to see you. Josh is here. Josh says, just saying hi. Must nap now. Well, you could keep us running in the background, and we could be maybe provide some soothing background as you nap. I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't know. Mark Rizzo is here. Mark Rizzo, good to see him. In the driver's lounge, says, do you see any path to a Trump victory? I really don't. It all comes down to the Electoral College and to those couple of swing states. But I think Kamala's going to win Pennsylvania. That's one of the key ones. I mean, there's a path. Is if it depends on some of those swing states, but I think Kamala Harris is chewing it up, man. Witchy Woman says, awesome. Thanks, Winnie. One day we will have a Sparkler, Brian, Benny, Diane, etc. meetup, and I would love to meet you all. Let's see. I missed what Winnie said, I think. Did I miss Winnie? Do I have it on all messages? Yeah, I do. Because I don't see Winnie in here. I don't know. Anyhow, yeah, but that sounds good. West Webb, I was overconfident in 2016. Yeah, I know. That's why I try not to be either. But I still think Kamala Harris is going to win. Which woman, celebration or desperation, both require mind-altering substances. Nick Rich, 12 noon. Hey, I'm only about a minute behind. Tomcat retired from over the road now, teaching CDL at local college. Oh, awesome. I'm pretty much retired from over the road now, too. And I've been doing Uber for about a year and a half. Over a year and a half. So, yeah. But, yeah, over the road, man. I did it for almost 20 years. And I know a lot of drivers do it for 30 years and 40 years. So it's not like I did it for, not like that's any special number. But it was long enough to get me kind of burnt out on it. To tell the truth. Jolie says, like, subscribe, and share. Yep. MJ Daniel says, I don't drink, but I will smoke a big bowl if Kamala wins, and three if DJT somehow does. Oh man, I shudder to even think of that, but Mark Rizzo says, hey Jolie, nice to be here, first time participating. Well, thanks Mark Rizzo for coming on in, hanging out with us. I think you'll find it's a pretty cool place to hang out. Even when we get trolls, I'm not saying you're a troll, but even when we get trolls, we usually have a pretty good interaction with the trolls too. So, unless it's really, really, hateful or whatever. Joseph Winnie says, I'm winning. Oh, Joseph Winnie. Yeah, there we go. I don't know. You guys could call me Pooh. For some reason, I was looking for like a first name Winnie, I guess, and when I scrolled back, I didn't see it. Mr. Bob Newell says, Trump solved climate change at Doral Golf Course. There you go. Yeah, Trump, he did it. Probably with a Sharpie. That's all Trump needs is a Sharpie. And he can change the weather. Mark Rizzo says, Kamala is a much stronger and less polarizing candidate than Hillary was. Absolutely. I mean, it's unprecedented, I think, what we've seen, is at least in terms of a turnaround, at least from Biden to Kamala Harris, and the amount of fundraising they've done. I think they've raised $1 billion since she became the nominee. Like I say, she's filling up these arenas and places where she goes. It's gotten people that were not interested in voting interested in voting. You know, I mean, people that had just checked out checked back in. So yeah, you're right about that. I believe that's true. Even though I voted for Hillary, I supported Hillary, and I think she would have been a great president. I think she was qualified up the yin yang, and I think she would have made a great president. I really do. But you're right. There was a lot of people, and whether it was fair or not, I don't think it was fair in a lot of ways. The criticisms against Hillary Clinton, a lot of that was manufactured by Fox News, Rupert Murdoch publications, and all of his stuff, from Vladimir Putin, from the Russians, misinformation, disinformation, all that shit. It all played a role in painting this really bad picture about Hillary Clinton. And I think Kamala is, when you say stronger, her appeal is so strong that I don't think Vladimir Putin and Rupert Murdoch, they can't stand up to it. They're trying the same old shit. One of the first things they did when Kamala came out as the nominee is make fun of her laugh. And where did that sound familiar? They did the same thing to Hillary Clinton. They make fun of her laugh. You know, they're trying some of the same old tricks, and they're trying everything they can. But like I said, she's a really such a strong candidate. I think she can overcome that. Bella 150, what was your route? What was I didn't have a route. I was over the road. I was all over the place. Mr. Bob Newell, I was a troll. Yeah, Mr. Bob Newell came in here as a troll, and now look at him. He's our just lovable little friend over there. That we between Mr. Bob Newell and Mike H, you know, I feel like the show the chat is lacking if we don't have them in here now. Lacking. In case you didn't understand what I said. Hey, Don O'Leary is here. Good to see Don. Says it, Tomcat. Hello, first year college OT. Then no, I'm more of a RN teachers were Catholic nuns. Right. I don't know. I'm going to pass that one. Going to pass on that one. MJ Daniel, I'm more nervous about the down ballot elections. Harris Walls really need to solve the majority to get shit done. The Democrats need to get back, and that's one thing I was going to do. I was going to do something today on that. As well as Zen said, I've said this before, but he lost Georgia in 2020 because 20,000 otherwise Republican voters couldn't vote for him. I really doubt those same people are going to change their minds and vote for him now. I think Harris is going to win Georgia. That's a tough one, though. A lot of racists there. A lot of misogynists there. They don't like women. They don't like blacks. But I think she can win it. I haven't really looked at Georgia. Witchy Woman says, Mark, you are not wrong. She doesn't have 30 years of rebuke lies and attacks either. Her Ellie background makes her almost above reproach. It's driving them nuts and pure genius. Mr. Bob Newell says, Kamala will stomp Putin's balls with her stilettos. Does she wear stilettos? I guess I see a lot of times she's wearing sneakers, which I think is cool. Now, when she's out doing a rally on stage, she's probably wearing some type of a high heel. I'm not sure if it's a stiletto or not. But Wes Webb says, I'd call a voter in Pennsylvania, and they would tell me I was their 18th caller that day. They're really working it. Yeah, they're really working Pennsylvania. I think she's going to win Pennsylvania. Polar Vortex is here. Hey, Polar Vortex. I think that's the first time I've seen you in here, so welcome to the chat. U.S. has to get rid of that undemocratic electoral college system. I agree. That's all we've been talking about for years and years and years now, actually. But that's a heavy lift, though. I mean, all the hoops and hurdles you got to go through to do that. But yeah, I would love to see the electoral college be done away with. But it's in the Constitution, so it makes it really hard to do an amendment. Mark Rizzo says the bottom line is that a convicted felon should not be able to vote, let alone hold office. Well, I think convicted felons should be able to vote after they've served their time and they've done their time and they're released back into society. I think they should be able to vote. And maybe even hold office. I mean, if you've done your time and you've shown remorse and you've shown improvement in your life, you've turned your life around, I don't know why that should be preventing you from voting or even running for office. I mean, let the people decide. That's how I feel about it. I know we don't like Trump and we don't want him to be in office, and we think it's kind of ridiculous that he's the Republican nominee and he's already, been convicted of 34 felonies and all that. But that's on the Republican Party. That's their doing. They're the idiots that keep backing him. But as we've seen in the last few weeks, more and more and more and more people are defecting and turning away from Donald Trump. Tomcat, the big difference between OT and OTR stands for over the road. Old school is the best school, John. Laughing out loud. Yeah, I know what over the road means. And to me, OT means overtime. So, Polar Vortex, I get it. Witchy woman, hard to change a system that's set up for the system. West Webb, this was in 2016. Juggernaut, I'm not calling this year. Mr. Bob Newell, Trump declared himself winner. Joseph winning trick-or-treaters getting Crunch Bars, Butterfingers, and Baby Ruth bars this Halloween from Pooh. Hey, you're one of the houses I would have really maybe would have tried to go to a couple times, maybe. West Webb says if rural states could trust industrial states, we could eliminate the Electoral College. Trust what? What sort of trust? Hey, one person, one vote, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck if you're in a rural state. If you're in a rural state that's got 500,000 people in it, boo fuckity who? I'm from California. It has over 41 million. And you want to make my vote less? You're making so my vote isn't even a full vote. The Electoral College. So fuck you in your rural state. It should be all the people in the United States, all of their votes, all across the United States. We're way past this trusting the industrial states. A lot of the rural states are industrial anyhow, but we're way past that, where the original 13 colonies and the southern colonies, when we were writing up the Constitution, they were afraid they were going to lose slavery. They didn't want to lose slavery, so they said, "We're not joining up with you unless you give us a stronger voice here or whatever. That's all that was about. Okay, we're way past slavery. Slavery's over. And it should be one person, one vote. I don't care if you live in Wyoming. I don't think it even has 1 million people in the whole state. Or if you live in California or New York or Florida or Texas, they all have tens of millions of people in them. When it comes to a general election, the one thing that we vote for, that all people in all 50 states vote for, is the president of the United States. That's the only one. Everything else, senators are just voted in by their state. House reps are voted in by their districts. The only one we have that is a national vote is the president of the United States. And that should count. Everyone's vote should count. And my vote shouldn't be overridden by a small dinky state that are all fucking MAGA, basically. Like South Dakota or whatever, you know? So that whole thing about industrial states, rural states, trusting industrial states, what the fuck does that even mean? It's such a stupid argument. Mark Rizzo says, I guess I agree, but run for president and you haven't done your time. Yeah, I know. I know. I get the sentiment, and I agree. I mean, in a way. But when it comes to, like, if you would have to change the Constitution or amend the Constitution. Because right now it says running for president, the only requirements are you have to be, I think, 35 years old and be a natural-born citizen, a U.S.-born citizen. You have to be born here, basically, okay? Those are the only two requirements. So to change that would take a constitutional amendment if we wanted to say you can't be a felon, you can't be this or that, whatever. And I understand the sentiment. But I don't know if we should change the Constitution for that. I don't know. Witchy woman Bella, she is female and black, who should be neither seen nor heard 50 years ago. Anyway, yeah, and hopefully things have changed. West Webb says, same thing I told you before, Jugger John. You just get upset. Rural people have a right to live also. I'm not saying they don't have a right. Where did I just say that rural people don't have a right to live? I never said they don't have a right to live. What I did say is the electoral college will make a vote from California not as like a full vote compared to a much smaller state. Because the electoral college, in those smaller states, all their electoral college votes go to the candidate that state voted for. And if that rural state is voting for, let's say, a Republican, and let's say in California we're voting for Democrats, then those smaller states, their vote has more impact than my vote in California, even though I'm in Nevada now, but I'm just using California as an example. That has nothing to do with saying they don't have a right to live. I don't know where you get off saying that. MJ Daniel says the Electoral College belongs to the 18th century Deep South. Yeah, that's where it belongs, and that's where it should stay, and that's where it should be amended right out. West Webb says we unfortunately aren't past that. It wasn't just about slavery. If slaves did not count as population, rural states had no power. Again, boo fuckity who? How's this for a concept? Free all your slaves, make them freemen, abolish slavery, and pay them a living wage to work your farms, and then we'll talk. That's what the founding fathers should have said. Of course, they wanted to beat England, and they were pretty desperate. They wanted to make sure they could beat England, and if the South wasn't going to, the South probably would have just joined with England, and England would have won. So it's all related to slavery, Wes. It's all related. MJ Daniel says, want fair representation, then states like California and New York with bigger populations should get more members of Congress and another senator. Well, again, all that stuff takes constitutional amendments. And if we're gonna amend the Constitution, I think it might just be easier just to repeal the Electoral College. It's not balanced, Wes. It is not balanced. When we see since 2000, or even before then, I guess, but basically since 2000, how many times have we seen the winner of the popular vote only end up losing the race, losing the presidency or whatever, because of the Electoral College? How many times? Look it up. And it's going to be what, like 3 or 4 times or whatever. So if that's not enough of an argument to get rid of the Electoral College, then I don't know what is. Polar Vortex says, many good thinkers in this chat. Which woman? I must have blocked this person already. I don't know. Mr. Bob Newell, South Dakota, Christy Noem is a hottie? She's attractive, but she's weird. She's killing the dogs. She's a dog killer. And I thought she was so, what a weirdo. Like when Trump was doing that town hall and Trump was like just swaying to the music and he was doing all this, and then Christy Noem came out and she's like, what a little sycophant. What a fucking little sycophant. Little dog killing sycophant is what she is. Let's see. Donald Leary says Minnesota Tim Walz passed a law, a felony conviction can vote. Yeah, a lot of states have that too. And I don't really have a problem with it. Bella 150 says the South also wanted to count all slaves for voting, but they couldn't vote. Yeah, how convenient. They could just say, yeah, we got 3 million slaves and they all vote for, this Confederate dude or whatever. West Webb in Illinois, there is a band of gerrymandered small cities to maintain democratic control. I'm against gerrymandering too. Whether the right does it or the left does it, I'm still against gerrymandering, and it should be outlawed. And these districts should be set up by nonpartisan panels. MJ Daniel says right now the areas with the smaller population have pretty much equal protection as bigger population centers. Mary T, what about you, Chucker John? Well, what about you, Mary T? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the chat today. Mary T from Ireland. Always good to see Mary T. Welcome to the chat. Bill 150 hints the 3/4 compromise. Yeah, the 3/4 compromise, exactly. Polar Vortex agree, Chucker John. One person, one vote. Yeah, take that, Wes Webb. Wes Webb says hospitals, he always cries about this. Hospitals, internet, roads, services of all kinds unavailable in many places. It's because no one's there. Cows don't need the internet. I've driven through southern Illinois. It's a bunch of cows. They don't need the fucking internet. Are you kidding me? And the interstates are fine. I've been on the interstates. Those are beautiful. I've been on highways through southern Illinois. I don't see any problems with it. So a lot of cows and a lot of cornfields. You don't need the internet. The ears of corn, those ears don't hear the internet. Witchy Woman says, I hope the recent past proves a future of more Trump showing dementia, more spin, and more people breaking the spell that Trump casts, so more be it. Yeah, I hope so too. They really, that needs to really be front and center, his mental decline. Wes Webb, who has the power to pass amendments? Lay it out for us. Lay it out for us, Wes. Wes Webb, we need two voices to have a discussion. Yeah, so we have many voices in here. Wes Webb, how do we make decisions about two sides? Who's saying anything about not having two sides? No one. You're taking away my side with the Electoral College. When the popular vote decides, when a candidate wins the popular vote, but then doesn't actually win, you're taking away my vote, you stupid ass. Jolie says, last time my vote counted was in 2008. Wow. PDG 2000, LBFB, talking about, I think Christy Noem, what a moron, not hot. Yeah, she's an awful person. So whatever physical attractiveness she has, she just loses it by being awful. Hey, here's General Putnam 2. Don't know if I remember seeing General Putnam 2 in the chat before, so thanks for being here. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. General Putnam 2 says, Victor Shi just posted a on fire video of Georgia voters lined up by the thousands to vote on whatever that emoji is. So yeah, people are fired up over there, I guess, to get voting. And like we always say, and we don't just say it, I mean, I think the facts back it up, that higher turnouts are usually better for the Democrats. Lower turnouts are better for the Republicans. West Webb, if electoral votes were proportional, it would be more fair. Yeah, that's true, probably, yeah. Again, I think that would take a constitutional amendment. Stuff2B2 says those big farms with all those cows are using computers and internet a lot more now to manage their businesses. Well, you know what? There's lots of stuff in the Inflation Reduction Act and the Chips and Science Act and all these things that Joe Biden has been getting through to get rural broadband in place throughout these rural areas. Do you think Donald Trump would ever do that shit? Fuck no. I'm not. That was more directed at West than Stephanie. Mary T says, Trucker John, you sound like John Wayne in The Quiet Man when you do an Irish accent. Mine is Northern Irish. Think Belfast. I'm thinking Belfast. It's not helping, Mary. It's not helping me with my Irish accent. I'm still horrible at it, no matter what. Marcus Mills says, hey, everybody. Hello, Marcus Mills. Good to see you in the chat. Welcome to the Driver's Lounge. Thanks for being here. West Webb, but we need cows and food. Farmers need doctors and other services. Can't be proportionate. Okay, well, then just keep writing or your Illinois officials, whoever's in charge of putting hospitals in, start complaining to them. It's not Joe Biden's fault that you don't have a fucking hospital out in the middle of the cornfield. Maybe the cows should rise up and say, God damn it, we need hospitals out here in our pastures. I'm kind of joking, but you got to admit, though, I mean, if there's only if there's areas that have, I don't know, how do you do it? I don't know, 1,000 people per quarter mile. I don't know. How's a good way to do it? If you've got, you got big population centers, and then you got the rural areas where there's like 100 people in a 10-mile radius or something. I mean, maybe you could get some clinics, some ER clinics or whatever. You're not going to get a big, giant, beautiful hospital probably. That's just how it works, man. And that's not, it's not the fucking awful Democrats who don't want to provide health care. We're all for that. But when there's only 2 people out in the middle of nowhere, it's kind of hard to build a fucking hospital. Hospitals, they're like for-profit shit, you know, right? Maybe we should start voting for Democrats more often. Maybe we'll get a national healthcare system, and maybe we'll get better hospitals out in the rural areas. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Right, MJ Daniel. Maybe Americans should elect more Democrats to provide the kind of infrastructure the GOP seems to want to keep blocking. Exactly. MJ Daniel goes on to say rural areas insist on election Republicans. Right, they would insist on electing Republicans who want to block the infrastructure spending they need. 2016, the GOP had a majority and could not pass an infrastructure spending bill. Remember when it was like infrastructure week every fucking week? Because they didn't ever do anything about the infrastructure? Bella150 says, I learned something the other day. Blacks at one time had to laugh into a barrel, leading to the phrase, a barrel full of laughs. Maybe that's why they don't like her laughing. Oh, I don't know. No, I mean that's two separate things. I think they just want to find, by they I mean the right wing media, Fox News, all that kind of shit. They just want to find something, anything, to try to make fun of her, just to try to put her down a little bit. West Webb says so many things can't be done without working electricity, not only talking about internet. Who the fuck doesn't have working electricity in fucking southern Illinois or the rural parts of Illinois? You're telling me they don't have electricity? I'm calling bullshit on that one, Wes. Mike Williams says, is someone giving you trouble? Tell them I don't want to come down there, but I will. Hey, Mike Williams, good to see you, by the way. Tom Kett, I believe the infrastructure bill had funding for wideband. They've got it in. It's in there. They're improving broadband services all over the country, thanks to Joe Biden. I'm not West Webb. I'm not saying that they don't count the 10,000 people or whatever. I'm not saying they don't count. I'm just saying if you've got 10,000 people spread out over a 100-mile radius, as opposed to the cities that have millions of people, there's going to be more of a priority put on putting hospitals in those big rural areas because they've got people that are keeling over every single day. Even here in Las Vegas, a few 100,000 people or whatever in this valley, people are dying, getting hurt, having heart attacks multiple times a day. And we've got dozens of hospitals around here. You're out in the cow fields, 10,000 people in probably 100 or 200-mile radius. Okay, it might be a little hard for someone to finance a big, beautiful, giant hospital in the middle of nowhere. Now, granted, you do need healthcare, you do need medical attention. You might get maybe a smaller hospital. You might get a smaller clinic. You might get a smaller ER or urgent care things. But you might not. It just stands to reason you're not going to get all the nowadays probably billion-dollar facilities that you're going to see in a rural area that has millions and millions and billions of people. Now, that's just logic. But if there's a demand for it or a need for it, then fine, by all means, write your representatives and say, hey, look, we need a fucking hospital here or whatever. But I don't know what that has to do with the initial thing that I said about the Electoral College. It really has nothing to do with it. General Platinum 2 says, thank you, John. Yes, first time here. Headed out half hour to vote in the stunning Four Corners, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, and an old Massachusetts Republican moderate friend driving 3X TDFG. Not sure what TDFG means. All right. Well, good to see you here. Four Corners area is really, really cool. I've driven through there in the truck, in my big truck, and and then through sort of the outskirts of Monument Valley, not really in Monument Valley too much, but seeing all of the big rock formations through there. It's really, really, really pretty. Kind of awe-inspiring. Some of those big mesas and the big rocks and Polar Vortex says lots of cows equals steak and hamburgers. Sugar John, not everyone is vegetarian. Farmers need that stuff. Yeah, I know they need stuff. I agree. I was being a little tongue in cheek, but what I'm saying is it's just logical that Rural areas aren't going to have maybe all of the biggest, bestest things that an area that has millions of people that needs to be handled because people are dying or getting hurt, or having emergencies and whatever every single day. Who knows, dozens or hundreds of times a day, compared to a rural area where there's just much less going on. So it's just logical that there might not be some beautiful grand hospital that you want to have right in your little middle of nowhere place. But like I say, of course there should be maybe a small hospital, whatever whatever can fill the needs of that area, and some urgent care places and all that kind of stuff. There should be those, no doubt. I don't know what that has to do with the Electoral College, about the Electoral College outweighing the popular vote when we talk about voting for the president. That's what I was talking about. I'm not really sure what any of that has to do with rural areas not having as much hospitals as they need, or as good as internet or whatever. I don't know what that has to do with it. I would think you would be more on board with getting Democrats in power, because I think you stand a much better chance of getting a hospital or getting broadband or getting better electrical grid. Like, apparently they don't have electricity in these places. You have a much better chance of that, I think, under a Democratic leadership than you do under Republican, generally speaking. All right. So I don't know what all this talk has to do with that, but whatever, man. Wes is sort of a one-trick pony. He always likes to bring this up every single time. And here's Wes Webb says it goes off all the time. Mountains from North Carolina to Kentucky, no electricity for weeks. Now we're talking about North Carolina and Kentucky. And maybe those states need to do a better job. I don't know that. I still don't know what it has to do with the Electoral College. Wes Webb, they feel like they don't count. Well, they probably don't even vote. That's the thing too. A lot of people bitch and complain and moan and groan, and then they don't even vote. So, Stephanie B2 says the only hospital for those people in Knights Ferry is in Oakdale, which is about 30 miles from them, and the hospital is getting shut down. Wes Webb says government makes a law, and big business tests that law to the fullest extent. Okay. Tomcat, we have women here in Texas dying in hospital parking lots because laws block them from getting proper health care. Yep. All these stupid anti-abortion laws. Guys, I'm going to step out real quick. I need to get I forgot to get a bottle of water. I drank my coffee, and it has made me very, very, I guess, dry mouth or whatever. So I'm going to go grab a bottle of water. I'll be right back. Don't go away. I'm back. West Webb, hospitals going broke and closing. I don't know what that has to do with the Electoral College either. And I don't know what that has to do with Democrats not caring or not listening. Maybe they're going broke because we don't have a national healthcare system and we don't do things to try to bring down the costs. And we let big pharma and big, just the big medical industry maybe gouge. Maybe too much price gouging going on. I don't know. Right. Don O'Leary says the hospitals are closing. Let's blame that on the for-profit healthcare and managed care, shall we? That's right. That's kind of what I was just saying, Don. Great minds think alike, I guess. I was just thinking that's kind of what I was saying. Maybe because we don't have a national healthcare system, a universal pay type of system. Let's see. Step WB2, don't some of those hospitals are going broke because their states don't accept the ACA, right? I think so. I think that's a big part of it. West Webb says, okay, Trucker John, that is the same reason that we need a balance, two equal opposing sides, imaginary or not, it is not established. I'm not saying that we don't need two sides. I'm talking about the presidential election. That's the only thing the Electoral College oversees. It doesn't have anything to do with your senators. It has nothing to do with your House representatives. It has nothing to do with your state representatives. It has nothing to do with your governor. It has nothing to do with your mayor. It has nothing to do with your city dog catcher. The Electoral College is only about selecting the president of the United States. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about anything else. And I believe, since that is the one and only office that covers the entire 50 states plus, our territories like Puerto Rico, and Guam, and some of the others, Virgin Islands or whatever, in Washington, D.C., I guess. Since that's the only election that does that, it should be by popular vote. So you can get your representation in Illinois by voting for your House rep and your state senator, as well as whatever's on your state offices. But when it comes to the president of the United States, that should be one person, one vote, no electoral college. Mike Williams says, I would think an urgent care, an ambulance in a small town until they could get a patient stable, then be taken to the city. Hey, I would love to have more hospitals. So I guess there are private hospitals, right, that are owned by private companies. I don't think you could make them build a hospital. If they don't want to spend millions of dollars on a hospital, then how do you make them do that? I don't know. Mary T says, good luck, Trucker John. I'm off to play some tunes. All right, Mary T. Well, thank you for the time you spent with us. Hope to see you again in the chat. Thanks for listening to us all the way from Ireland. Witchy Woman says, Don, I really appreciate Nicole Sandler educating us on Medicare disadvantage. Yeah, between her and Tom Hartman, they talk about that probably the most of anybody on on the internets. Just passing over Wes Webb's bullshit because he's full of shit. I mean, he's not full of shit. Okay, I understand. Rural areas are underserved or whatever. I don't know what that has to do with the Electoral College. I'm not even sure what that has to do with the Democrats in Illinois. I don't think Democrats in Illinois are going, fuck you, you fucking rural hicks. Go to the goddamn vet if you need something. I don't think they're saying that. I think there's much more to it than that. General Putnam says Bobert's new district, Colorado 4, needs infrastructure services and a rep who can help with farmers, ranchers, with federal loans, crop insurance, grazing lease on public lands. Bobo can't do that. Vote Calvaris. Yes, please. I do hope that that Bobert loses. We need to get rid of the Boberts of the world. We don't need them in Congress. That is for show. For show, for show. Donald Leary says, Witchy Woman, the best is Tom Hartman and his guest Alex Lawson is a great resource. I heard he even takes phone for MCR questions. I believe that is correct, Don. I believe you are correct. Tomcat says, yes, Mike Williams, it's called Care Flights. There are fleets of helicopters, response teams covering rural areas throughout the U.S. We see them often land in our ranch lands. Yeah, see there, Wes? Get helicopters. We got helicopters. Joe Zwinny, I've had an ass full of West Web filibustering in the chat. Bob Newell, rural Georgia is scary. You seen the movie Deliverance? Yeah, I have seen the movie. If things not improved since 1972 or whatever it was when that movie came out, are we still 50 years behind? Probably, huh? West Web, for whatever reason, rural areas are severely lacking adequate medical care, not to mention schools and government services in general. Well, so I guess what you're saying is the people don't feel heard. They're not being listened to in these rural areas. They need schools. They need hospitals. They're not being listened to, so they're going to either not. They're either not going to vote because they don't feel to, or they do vote. And are they voting? Who are they voting for? Whoever they're voting for, I guess still isn't doing the job. I don't know. Keep up the good fight over there. Fight for your hospitals. Fight for your schools. Whatever. You do what you got to do. I'm not an expert in Illinois politics. You guys do what you got to do. Vote. Send your postcards. Get a postcard writing campaign. Send postcards to your elected representatives at the state level and the federal level, and do a fucking postcard writing thing. Say, hey, we need some hospitals down here. We need some medical care. We need some schools. God damn it! They do listen to that shit, and they get 30 or 40 of those in. They'll think what they figure is if they got 30 postcards that said, hey, look, we are lacking in healthcare and in hospital care down here, and our schools are. We need more schools. We need this or that. We need some infrastructure. And they get 30 cards on that. They're going to say that probably means there's actually hundreds or maybe thousands of people that feel the same way. Get on that, Wes. Get on a postcard writing campaign. Or calling, get the numbers out and start calling your representatives and tell them, hey, we need some fucking hospitals down here, man. There's only so many helicopters that can get us up there to Chicago or wherever. Get on that, Wes. In fact, get out of my chat right now. You're wasting time. Get out of here and go start writing some postcards and get on the phone and start calling your representatives in Illinois right now, Wes. You're wasting my time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting the Illinois rural people out there's time. Get on it, Wes. You can do it. I know you can do it. I got faith in you. I'm right behind you all the way. All right. Polar Vortex says, agree, Chucker John, rural areas won't have some amenities as urban centers, just different strategies. It's kind of just the nature of the game of being in a rural area. That's just the kind of the nature of it. But yeah, if there's, if there's a need for it, then the people start protesting. Do a peaceful protest. Call the media. Do a little peaceful protest around your local Dairy Queen or whatever. And call the local media out and have your little signs that say, we need hospital. We need a hospital. Don't just sit there and bitch to me about it. West Webb says, it has to do with why we still have the Electoral College to keep a balance. That does not keep a balance. It denies. We are supposed to be living in a democratic republic, basically, where we adhere to democratic policies or of voting, of democracy rule. Okay, it's supposed to be about the majority wins, the majority rules. That's what democracy is about. That's the way I see it. So when you have the Electoral College deciding who wins the presidential election and it goes against the popular vote, that's anti-democratic in its very nature. It's anti-democratic. The Electoral College is anti-democratic. And you just can't face the fact that there might be more people than you that believe differently than you, that have a different idea of who should be the president of the United States. And the Electoral College only refers to the presidency. It doesn't have anything to do with your senator. You can vote for your senators in your state. You can vote for your House representatives in your state. They're the ones that give you the voice to Washington, D.C. But as far as the president of the United States, the president of the United States is the president for everyone. So everyone's vote should count. Everyone's vote. And just because California has more people, why should they be diminished? Why should their vote be diminished? It's not their fault that there's 41 million people living there. I just skipped down because I know I'm really behind on chat. West Webb, we still haven't touched on Dems being gangsters in Chicagoland. What is this, 1936? If there's no Republicans that were gangsters? I don't know. Who gives a fuck? If they're bad and they're corrupt, get rid of them. Just like we don't want Robert Menendez or whatever. We don't give a fuck about that asshole. Polar Vortex says there should be at least two sides, but not sides that are gridlocked. Not all Dems agree with other Dems, and not all Republicans agree with other Republicans. But I will say that the Republicans do seem to walk in or march in lockstep, and pretty much, or at least they have been. They're starting to break away more and more away from Trump. but they've been walking in lockstep, marching in lockstep, whatever, with Trump and with MAGA for 8 years now, and very afraid to show their differences until now. Until finally, they're seeing that Donald Trump is losing his wits. He's on a fast fade, and I think they're seeing his popularity shrink. So now they have the courage to walk away. Now they do. Witchy woman laughing at Mike now. Some people have to shop at Dollar General. Nick Rich says there's no perfect government, but democracy is the best way to go. I believe that too. Mr. Spock should get fund going for new TJ chairs, something like Captain Kirk's command chair. That would be nice. Don O'Leary says, West Webb, you are to United Center in Chicago and the Health Center, you know that. Jolie, I live in a red state. Why shouldn't my vote count? MJ Daniel, maybe choose better candidates. West Webb, so a city that doesn't need one gets an extra hospital, and thousands downstate have to drive 50 to 60 miles in an emergency. Who builds the hospitals, Wes? I'm asking seriously, like, who decides where to build hospitals, how they're built, who finances it? Is there a lot of government funding? Is there federal funding? Is it all private money? Are there private hospitals? And then I guess there are there government-run hospitals? Do we have government-run hospitals? How does that all work? Because I think that in order to get maybe more hospitals to rural areas, it's going to take a big change in that profit structure. Bella 150 says contacting your senator does work. I got a phone call from is it Oklahoma? Lankford's office back when I lived in Oklahoma. I think they do take notice of those, especially if there's, a whole bunch of them on the same subject. Witchy Woman says, sad and true. Food deserts are not just in the city. Stop the BS division, West, and unite against the billionaires, but refuse to bite the hand that feeds them. Yeah, there are inner city areas that are low income areas that don't have any Kroger's or like Vons or Albertsons or nice big supermarkets. They have little convenience stores, or maybe you can find a banana or a tomato or something for probably a much higher price. It might not be the freshest, I don't know, and it probably will be more expensive than a supermarket. So, yeah, I guess it's all about following the money. MJ Daniel says, MAGA shrinking like his little mushroom in cold water. West Webb says, pure democracy is impossible. I never said anything about pure democracy. I said we have democratic principles. And the main one being that we go by majority rules. That's another reason why I'm against the filibuster and all that kind of shit. I think it goes against the democratic policy or philosophy of majority rule. I never said anything about pure democracy. Which woman says, my aunt in West Virginia has a dollar store and a liquor store within walking distance. It is sad. Nick Rich, Utopia isn't real either, Wes. Right. Mike Williams says, build him one and he'll bitch about the color of the bricks. Probably. West Webb says, Mercy Health is a non-profit healthcare system based in Rockford, Illinois. Okay, so it's non-profit healthcare system, but they still have to make enough money to pay their doctors and nurses and everyone who works there, and to maintain the building, maintain the equipment, buy all the medical supplies and all that kind of stuff. So I'm sure that all goes into factoring of what they could build in a rural, smaller populated area. That's why I don't know, are people being vocal enough to the state capitol or whatever? I mean, because it does seem like something could be done. Like I say, a small little regional hospital, or even some urgent care. The urgent cares can do a lot of stuff. I mean, can handle a lot of things. And if you have something that's more long term, then you would have to go to maybe a bigger hospital. But I don't know. There are solutions. I think there are solutions. I still, but if all you're going to say is they don't feel like they're being listened to, okay. Well, so what does that mean? Are they not voting because of that, or are they voting, or they feel like the Democrat? Like you seem to say, like the Democrats aren't listening. So are they voting for Republicans? And if they are, then why aren't the Republicans doing anything? I mean, even if they don't win, there should be there are ways to get your message out. Like I say, calling their offices, sending them postcards, going to the media. I think all that shit works. So you can sit and pout all you want, but at some point you might have to get off your butt and do something. MJ Daniel says, it is the job of the Senate and Congress to allocate funding, just like one of our senators, Patty Murray, got funding for a new VA hospital in my hometown of Walla Walla. Walla Walla, Washington. Yeah, well, that's a VA. That VA is, the VA. West Webb Electoral College was decided by a majority. Yeah, and I'm saying we need to undecide it. West Webb, if the majority wanted to get rid of the Electoral College, it would. Right. That's why when people say we need to get rid of the Electoral College, what did I say in the very beginning? I said it's a very difficult thing to do. It takes a constitutional amendment in order to repeal something or to change something in the Constitution, or to add something. It takes a constitutional amendment, and to do that, you got to pass the House, you got to pass the Senate. I think by a 3/4 majority or whatever kind of shit. And then if it does that, then it has to go to each state house. There's all the state legislatures, and they all have to pass it, and it has to pass with a majority of the 50 states. So I guess you got to get 26 states, I think, right? So yeah, I never said it was easy. I never said, and I didn't say that it didn't take a majority or whatever. I never, ever, ever, ever said that it didn't. I never said that it didn't take a majority. I just said it takes a constitutional amendment to do it, and you can't just snap your fingers to do it. But we have done it. We've got lots of amendments, right? How many amendments do we have? Come on, you guys. You guys are smarter than me. 20-something amendments? I don't even remember. I forget. 20-something. We have 20-some odd amendments, right? So it does happen, and it can happen. And maybe someday it will happen. But it is going to take the numbers. We got to get the numbers. So that's why when I just bring that up when people say people say the Electoral College needs to go. It needs to be gone. And I'm like, yeah, I agree. I think it needs to go also. But I'll always say, you can't just snap your finger or wave your hand and make it go away. It's a big process. And I really don't really have anything against that. I don't think it should be really easy to make a constitutional amendment. I think it should be difficult. I think it should take, a lot of hoops and hurdles or whatever, to go through. As long as they're not just, bullshit. As long as it's not just like where it's impossible, but it's not impossible because, like I said, we have lots of amendments to the Constitution, and so it can be done. And I'm not saying that it's easy. And I'm not saying that it doesn't take a majority or whatever. It does. It does take majorities, but it's just it takes work. It takes time and work and effort. MJ Daniel says it is the Republicans such as MTG who continue to vote against funding for needed infrastructure and services in rural areas. And that's what I say too. That it's usually Republicans that are holding up infrastructure. According to Wes Webb, in Illinois, it's the opposite. Apparently, I don't know. I don't live in Illinois. I don't really. I guess I'll have to take Wes Webb's word for it. But whatever the case, I think that is typical of a rural area. Just by nature of the fact that there's less people there, there's going to be less services. That's just part and parcel with living in a rural area. Ballot 150 telemedicine is being advocated for my college in rural areas. Yeah, there's lots of things that are going to be happening in the ways of new technology that will bring the services to the people in these remote areas. Nick Rich says 27. I don't know what that's about. Which woman? But I can look down the other educated people who refuse to be swayed by facts and logic. They have no excuse. Wes Webb says Ballot 150. They are using more of that, but televised medicine depends on good internet feeds. Right. And again, the MTGs of the world do not want to pass bills that will improve broadband services and internet services and improve the electrical grid and all that. They don't want any of that shit. Once again, we come back to it being partisan, and it is, by and large, again, I don't know about Illinois, but by and large, it's the MTGs, it's the Republicans of the world that don't want this shit. Mr. Spock, Elon is paying people to register to vote. Who's to say they are going to vote for Trump? Tic Tac should have trolled him. Flood them with people to register, then vote for Kamala. Donald Leary, that is why we need broadband, and Republicans vote against they vote against that shit. Witchy Woman says, what do you think maggots have planned after the election? Well, you know what? I don't know what you're referring to, but the first thing I'm thinking of is like violence, right? Or whatever. Is there going to be violence? Is January 6th, was that just a warm-up? If Trump loses, and I think there's a very good chance of it. I think we all need to keep our heads on a swivel, keep watch our backs, be careful, because these motherfuckers, we saw that how crazy they could get it on January 6th. And Trump and JD Vance and others around the Trump campaign, they have no reservations whatsoever about trying, at least carrying anything about a peaceful transfer of power. Although this wouldn't be a transfer of power because it would still be going to the Democrats, but or about him losing, about Trump losing. They have no qualms whatsoever about stoking violence and stoking up, that type of activity. And Trump's going to keep doing it, and JD Vance is going to keep doing it. They're going to stoke the fires for violence and bloodshed. So I hope it's as small as possible, but just be careful. I mean, if anything, if we learned anything from January 6th, is that these motherfuckers, there are crazy ass motherfuckers out there that will, storm Capitol buildings. They will beat cops with back the blue flags, and they will attack anyone that if they think that you are a Democrat or a Kamala Harris supporter. They will. There are those out there. I'm not saying it's going to be, widespread or like every single place, but it's just the thing about it. The scary thing about it is we don't know. You don't know, right? You don't know where. You don't know how much. You don't know when, and that's terrorism. Trump is a terrorist. He's stoking terrorism. He's advocating terrorism, domestic terrorism. So, when he loses, and I think he is, he's going to say it was rigged. He's going to say you got to go down there and you got to fight for your country if you want to keep it and all that bullshit. And they're going to be loading up guns in their cars and they're going to be going places, whether it's Washington, D.C., or whether it's other state capitals or places, big rural places. I mean, big city places. I don't know, but I would not be surprised if there are outbreaks of violence and all being stoked. And the more that Trump is going down, the more he sees that he's going to lose, the more he's going to go that way. That's the way he is. He doesn't give a fuck about how many people get killed or hurt, as long as he gets what he wants. And if he thinks that this is going to get him somehow either, in the White House or somehow free from going to jail, then he's going to do it. But he's going to get more and more desperate, and he's going to see the writing more and more on the wall that he's going to lose the election and that he's going to end up in prison. Jack Smith is going to convict him. He's going to go to prison, and he's going to get more and more desperate, and he's going to be calling out more and more violence. So be fucking careful. Everybody, watch your back, and it's just not on voting day. I mean, because I'm going to say, I would say, if you can vote by mail or in a drop box and do it, and you're safe, and then do it. But we don't know if it's just going to be on voting day, if it's going to be on, January or whatever it is. But it's a scary thought, and I don't mind talking about this. As far as I guess the fear is that I'm maybe overblowing things, or, that I'm overreacting. I would rather, in this situation, overreact than underreact. If anything, if we learn from January 6th, because even though I remember Alex Jones and Steve Bannon, I think, saying stuff prior to January 6th that there was going to be a riot and there was going to be get ready for, there's going to be a bunch of stuff going on, and there were people saying, hey, watch out for violent protests and stuff like that. And I remember kind of just brushing it off, and thinking, yeah, I guess it could happen, but probably not, or whatever. Not this time, people. We can't think that way this time. And I think everyone from Joe Biden to Kamala Harris to our people that are in charge of security, we'll definitely be, I think, ready for it on, on the obvious places like DC and stuff. But I don't think it's too much to. I don't think it's out of line to be ready and be prepared for the worst, because I think it's very real. I mean, the things that happened on January 6th, the way that people were climbing the walls and busting the windows, I never thought I would ever see something like that in America. Never. And yet there it was. And they were all the maggots. They were all the Trump supporters busting through the windows. And then they were busting into the, into the Senate chambers there, or the congressional chambers, and taking over the things. And everyone had to go hide. All the senators and the reps had to go hide, and and they're going through. They're yelling, for Pelosi to come out, and hang Mike Pence. They built a gallows. I never thought I'd see that in America, ever. And yet there it was. So yeah, we got to be ready and prepared and vigilant and careful about what could happen, because Trump will not hesitate. And if nothing else, if he knows he's going down, he wants to take as many people down with him. That's the way he thinks. That's his whole thing. So, yeah, man, it's scary. It's something I really didn't think about until, I've thought about it a few times, but until that post, it really got me thinking there, didn't it? I really am going off on it. But, yeah, so fucking be careful. Be careful out there, man. But having said all that, I do think that whatever they do, it's not going to mean anything. There might be some people who get killed, innocent people, and that means a lot to that person and to their family, because you never know. That could be me. It could be you. Who knows? There might be a few people that get killed from these fucking loons. But the overall, it's not going to amount to a hill of beans. It's not going to overturn the election. It's not going to do anything, to take down our country. It's just going to be the last gasps of a dying political career of a man who's going to end up in prison and in ruins. It's the last dying gasps of that, and that could be, a cornered animal is the most dangerous. So. I guess that's all I got to say about that. Just be careful. Witchy women, if they come over the bridge into suburbia, Kim has a gun. A lot of Democrats and liberals have guns. So, but still, we don't want it to come to that, but just be careful, man. Hey, Jeff Curry's here. Jeff says, hadn't been any Trump signs in this town. Now there is one right across the street from me. That's a bad trend. Tomcat says they don't want to come after this gun-toting liberal. I'm packing serious heat, 23-year military, and I don't play. Yeah, they might be surprised. They might come up a lot of people like you, Tom. Cat. West Webb, I just think everybody should understand why others feel differently. Rural America feeds the cities, and truck drivers bring the food. Rural America feeds the cities, and truck drivers bring it to the cities. We also bring shit to the rural areas too. We bring you everything. We bring you the fertilizer. We bring you the seeds. We bring you the tools to plow your fields. We bring you the pipes to run your water, run your irrigation. And in the cities, we bring you the clothes that are on your back. We bring you the food that's on your plate. We bring you the plates that you put your food on. So, shout out to the truck drivers of America. Truck drivers keep America rolling. Truck drivers keep America growing. Truck drivers keep Americans fed and clothed and housed. We bring the hammers and the nails. We bring the lumber. We bring the electrical conduit. We bring it all, motherfucker. Truck drivers trump farmers. I'm just saying. General Putnam, too, says not much worried about violence, but the legal hurdles set up by right-wing red states do legislation that allows their secretaries of states to arbitrarily assign electoral votes to their own candidates. Didn't that just get shot down in the courts? I thought. MJ Daniel says the big concern now would be the GOP states trying to send the election to the states. I'm just seeing we're a little over 2 hours. We'll keep going. I'm on a roll. We'll keep going here a little bit, as long as you guys want to hang out with me. Mike Williams says Allred is going to fight them. Oh, Colin Allred? I hope he beats Ted Cruz. I fucking hope he beats Ted Cruz. God damn it, that would be so great. I mean, you know, I wanted Beto to beat him. Didn't Beto run against him once? Or no, he ran for governor, huh? I wanted Beto to win, whatever he was running. And now we got Colin Allred. Man, come on, Texas. And this isn't just a district thing. This is a Senate seat, so it's the whole state. Come on, Texas. Get rid of fucking Cancun Cruz. West Webb says, if trade gets cut off, Donald Leary, I want to be on the side where the food is. There's old Wes, always thinking with his stomach. West Webb says, the Republican base must be allowed to deny Donnie and save face. West Webb, if not for agriculture, there would be no small rural cities. That and cement plants. A little shout out to my dad who worked at a cement plant for over 50 years. And I don't know. There was some it was all rural out there. So. Mike Williams says, I got 2 Trump signs and a Josh Hawley sign with my car this morning. There you go. Run them down. I don't advocate for anything that, but hey, you're gonna do what you're gonna do. Mr. Fox says automated trucks are going to put truckers out of business. TJ, it's the future. Yeah, well, yeah. Someday, I think we're a ways off, and then we could thank our automated truckers for bringing us all that shit. What are you gonna do? You know. I mean, it's upsetting. Like when I was driving, I was like, God, I remember saying to myself, I'm glad I'm old and I'm about ready to retire, because if I was young and I was getting into trucking and I wanted to make it a big, long career out of it, then this whole thing about automated drivers, automated trucks or whatever, not drivers, but automated, fully autonomous trucks or whatever, that would be disturbing to me. And I would definitely be thinking of, backup plans or different careers to go into or whatever. But since I was already old and almost in retirement, I was like, well, that's going to happen after I'm out. But there's still going to be a need for drivers in certain situations, I think. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. In any case, we will be thanking trucks, whether they're driven by humans or by robots or just being, autonomous. I guess we could just pat the little truck on its hood and go, thank you, truck, for bringing me my milk or whatever. I don't know. Wes Webb, if Alden wins, the game has changed. I hope he wins, and I hope the game has changed. MJ Daniel says, I was born and raised in deep rural farming country, eastern Washington. My first job at 14 was loading bales of hay and moving irrigation pipes. Yet most of the idiots are voting DJT who would F them. Yeah, that's the case, isn't it? You know, but am I wrong? I think I've brought this up before. I thought maybe back in the maybe post Depression era, maybe during the New Deal era, and even up into the 50s and 60s and 70s, it seemed like farmers and stuff. I thought a lot of farmers were Democrats, at least in those olden days. And then I guess it all changed with Reagan. Reagan demonized not only the Democratic Party, but unions and all that kind of stuff. But I guess things really changed a lot in the 80s. I don't know, but it seems like at some point, even like before I was born, I was born in '60, but for some reason I had this impression that a lot of farmers were more pro-Democrat, like in the 30s and 40s and 50s. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but now it certainly has flipped on that. West Webb says seed companies are indeed kings down here, and fertilizer plant folks. Gino Maynard, the human resistance will need drivers. I can drive. Witchy Woman says, Jeff, we aren't giving him the mechanics of a coup, or maybe we should, or bug them. Donald Leary, West Webb, dream on. West says, MJ Daniel, I'm from the same sort of place, except more like 65-35, still some dims. Oh, Midas Kevin. Midas Kevin Anderson's here. Hey, Midas Kevin, good to see you. Thanks for hopping into the driver's lounge. We've had quite an interesting conversation going on about a lot of things here. West Webb, if Dems start winning, people change to the winning party. This morning, Hal Sparks on his show brought up Ann Richards, and he made it sound. Now, maybe I misheard it. He made it sound like she was a Republican. I thought Ann Richards was a Democrat. Am I wrong? Am I wrong about that whole thing? I don't know. West Webb says Democrats screwed over the rural poor during the Depression. Yeah, but then FDR, I might have changed all that with the New Deal. So post-Depression. Tomcat says fully automated trucks will still need a driver on board for many years. We don't have the infrastructure, and they will not be able to deliver to places like the Bronx. Yeah, that's why. They're years away from being completely driverless. West Webb says if it is like now, I punish you when I am in power. I don't know whatever that means. Nick Rich says I'll have to wait until the outro music to see Tough Cookie and Beard Guy. Oh my goodness, you! Oh my goodness. Maybe they're on. Maybe they're off today, Nick. I don't know. I haven't seen them. I have not seen them run, so they might be out doing something. I don't know. Janelle Walker's here. Hey, Janelle, good to see you. Thanks for stopping in to the old driver's lounge. Mike Williams says we'd have more room for maggots if Reagan wouldn't have shut down the psych hospitals. Right. That's a good point, Mike Williams. Tomcat says Sue was a Democrat, and we miss her a lot. Did I miss a previous post? I don't know who Sue is. Mr. Spock, hasn't anyone seen Logan's Run? Cities are almost like that in China, except not domed yet. I did see Logan's Run, and it's been so long, I don't remember exactly. They were just very futuristic looking cities and stuff. Dawn, I thought she was a Democrat. Yeah, me too. I'm pretty sure Ann Richards was a Democrat. Which woman says, yes, the same 30 years of Fox propaganda just happens to coincide with the prosperity gospel BS and the rise of nationalism. No, Opus Dei planned this all along, finally wrote it down in Project 2025. Minus Kevin says, and equal dim. So see there, Texas had a Democratic president. I mean, president, a governor. I am old enough to remember when Texas had a Democratic governor, and they probably had Democratic senators and shit. I remember Arizona used to be more. Now Arizona's kind of getting back. They've got Democratic senators and a governor. But I think Florida used to be pretty much Democratic, and now it's been Republican for the last 20 years or whatever. Hopefully that'll change around. Maybe that'll flip back at some point. Maybe not this cycle, but maybe in the next one. I don't know. That'd be nice, though. Witchy Woman, I know I sound like a nut, but it's all true. It's all true. Gina Maynard says it's an agenda to ruin it, West Webb, or just a decision you agree with, or an excuse to paint all Democrats. Minus Kevin Anderson and daughter, nice. Tomcat, sorry, I meant Ann Richards. Damn autocorrect. Oh. Yeah, I remember seemed like a very good governor, very good Democrat. Nick Rich says Logan's Run, Peter Ustinov lived in the House of Representatives. Huh. West Webb not painting anybody, just saying that being a Democrat does not make you perfect. Never said it did. Just like being a Republican does not make you evil. Never said it did. Although, I do think the Republican Party is horrible for the most part. I think that the Republican Party really is only around to benefit the rich. And everything they do to get non-rich voters they're just pandering because they need the non-rich, because they don't have enough rich people to get elected to anything. That's my story. That's my opinion. I'm sticking to it. I don't give a fuck how many times West Webb is going to come in here and cry about the Illinois rural voters who don't get listened to. Mr. Funkadelic says Pokemon Go to the polls. Harris Walls 2024. There you go. Mr. Funkadelic, good to see you. Thanks for joining us here in the old driver's lounge. Good to see you. Good to see you. Don't think I've ever seen you here before. All right, let me see. Let's see what's going on over here. There. Hey, did I hear someone talking about me? Someone brought my name up, so then I had to come on in. So, hey, just want to say hi to everybody. And I just want to say that Republicans suck. All right? So there. Suck on that. Republicans are... I don't like them. I don't like them. For the most part, generally speaking, with a big paintbrush. Like West Webb. Yeah, you can take your Republican Party and you can shove it up where the sun don't shine, all right? Fuck the Republican Party. All they've ever done is try to break down this country, take away women's rights. That's what we like. That's the Republican Party right there, taking away rights. They don't add to the rights, they want to take away rights. So that's all I got to say about that, I guess, apparently. I'm at a little loss of words. I was back. I was back in the back there, just with a big bong. I just took a big, huge bong hit. And I'm a little woozy. I'm a little woozy right now. So, but yeah, I just want to come in and say hi real quick. To all y'all, and just say, Donald Trump, you're an idiot, and you need to change your diaper. All right, old man. old slopey man there with your little dancing gig, your little, oh, Ave Maria, Ave Maria. Oh, yeah, let's play that song. I'm going to stand here. I'm going to sway back and forth. Yeah, you're going to vote for that guy? That's the guy you're propping up? Wes Webb, that's your guy? Old shitty pants there. Yeah, good choice, Wes. Good choice. Oh yeah, really good choice there. Anyhow, I gotta go. I want to go rip another bong hit. All right, so I'm always the guy. Hi everybody, by the way, Paul the Purple Beard guy. I try to restore some sort of after Tough Cookie comes in and just sort of, riles the place up. I want to just kind of maintain a little bit, get everybody back to normal. Hey, look, Republicans aren't all bad, but they just vote for bad people, I guess. I don't know, but I just want to say, hey, vote for Kamala Harris. Get up there and vote. November 5th. Check your registration, all that kind of stuff. Make sure you vote. Vote for Kamala Harris, and let's get back on track. Let's get back on track. Let's keep this great economy going. We don't talk about the economy that much, do we? The economy is going gangbusters. The Dow, everything, record setting. I remember. Do you guys remember when Trump came out and said that as soon as Biden's elected, that the stock market was going to crash? And it did the exact opposite. It's breaking records right now, man. I mean, come on. Come on, man. You're going to believe anything that Donald Trump says at this point? I mean, come on. The guy's a fucking liar. Excuse my French. Oof. Sorry about that. I don't really like to let those F words out. But every now and then, I guess it's appropriate. So every now and then, you just got to do it. And Trump kind of brings that out in you, doesn't he? He brings out that bad language in you. But, the guy's a liar. And, I don't like to speak ill of people, but doggone it, he's just everything he says it's like opposite world with that guy, So I can't wait for November 5th, and we get this election over with, and we see that Kamala Harris is going to be our next president. I'm looking forward to it. I think that she's really going to help the purple beard community. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be a great presidency, and we got to keep it rolling. Got to keep the Biden boom economy rolling. Let's keep it rolling, man. Let's just do it. Let's do it to it. And I got to go back. Tough Cookies, he's got the bong ready for me, so I got to go. Who knew? I didn't know those guys were back there taking bong hits. No wonder it was getting kind of smoky over there. Anyhow, that's those guys. They just hang out. They just hang out and they pop in from time to time. So what can I say? Terrence Bunce, watch out for the Cookie MAGA monster. Which woman? Puff. The purple beard guy lived in Nevada. I don't know. West Webb, yes, she was polar vortex. We think we should talk about them sometimes. Vortices. I don't know what that's about. Tamara Price is here. Good to see Tamara in the chat, I guess. Jeff Curry, prices are really dropping at the grocery store I use the most. Yeah. It's been reported that grocery prices are dropping. So there's that. Gas has gone down a little bit. General Putnam says, my ride is here. Adios. I'll be in. Amigos. All right, General Putnam, too. Thanks for being here. And we are going to end the show here in a little bit. Mr. Marlon Brando's role in the remake was over the top. Let's see. Nick Rich, bongs, pipes, papers, a bunch. Which woman, Gino? You're black. I only knew you were old. Kidding, of course. Donald Leary, Mrs. Fox scared me. Thank God I watched the parents. I watched and parents were around. West Web alcohol prices are relatively low, except for beer, still high. All right, guys. So I guess that's about it for today. I was going to do something and I forgot, but now it's too late. I was just for shits and giggles because we were talking about down ballot voting earlier and how it's important to give Kamala Harris the Congress that she's going to need, to get things, get things through, meaningful legislation through, and to get the Kamala Harris what her agenda is going to be, which is going to be to continue growing the economy, continue with the good numbers that we have under the Biden economy, and to restore things like Roe v. Wade, things of this nature, all the things that she talks about, bringing back or keeping a child tax credit, doing things for like small business owners, having a $50,000 tax credit, having a first-time home buyers program that will help people with a $25,000 down payment, all those kind of things that I think are really good and will help the economy. It will help with people being able to buy homes and all that kind of stuff. That all that stuff is it helps the economy, builds the economy. These are really great programs that she's going to try to get through. In order to do that, she needs to have a Congress that she can work with, or a Congress that will work with her, a Congress that will pass these things. In other words, she needs a Democratic majority. In other words, so we need to get the House back, and we need to keep the Senate. So it's so important to vote, down ballot, and that's why I always say vote blue for all the things that are dear to you. Trademark, Trigger John. All right, so that's why I say that, and so let's keep that in mind. And I know most of you in this chat, West Web excluded probably, but most of you in this chat will probably vote blue down ballot. But there are a lot of people in the general sense that they don't really know much about politics. They just go by what they see at this time of year when there's all these political ads running. And a lot of those ads are misleading and they are out and out lies. And, and it comes to some of those voters, I guess it comes down to which ad they find the most convincing. I don't know. So I guess we need to tell our friends and our family, how important it is. And if you are voting for Kamala Harris, you need to be voting for Democrats also down ballot. And if they don't know what down ballot is, because some people, believe it or not, there are people, they might not even know what the term down ballot means. That's how kind of out of it of politics they are. Most people aren't like us. Us people here in this chat and people who are sparklers and people who watch Ross and Brian and Texas Paul and all these people. Okay, we are freaks. We are freaks. Okay, most people don't do that shit. They work, they go home, they play video games, or they watch, if they watch TV, they watch, TV shows, just, whatever TV shows are on, or they go on the internet, they watch like cat videos or funny videos. They don't watch political shit. That's what I'm trying to say. So the most they might ever see about politics is maybe Jimmy Kimmel doing his thing, or some of the late night shows, or maybe the Daily Show or something. And those are comedy shows. Those aren't really, but they do get some good points across. But I don't know. A lot of people don't really. I would say the overwhelming majority of the voters don't know what's going on, or they don't know. And it's not because they're dumb or stupid. It's just because they're busy, and when they have a little bit of time to themselves, they don't want to sit around watching political stuff. Could be really dry, and it may be boring or whatever. I don't know. So I guess it's incumbent upon us to try to let our friends and our family know that it's important. If you like Kamala Harris and you like what she says and you're going to vote for her, that when you go on the rest of that ballot, when it comes to your Senate seats and your House of Representative seats and even on your state level, at your governors and your state legislatures, it's important to vote along the same party line. I believe that. Maybe not all of you believe that, but I certainly believe that. And the party that has the majority in the House and in the Senate and in the state legislatures, it means so much. It's so important to get those those policy positions that you voted for when you voted for Kamala Harris. And if you have any hopes of any of those getting through, then you need to know how important it is to have the majority in the House and in the Senate. So I urge everyone to, not only us here in the chat, but to tell our friends, our family members, our co-workers, if you're able to get into a conversation where you don't feel like it's going to start a fight, it's not going to alienate you, or it's not going to cause trouble. But if you have the type of relationship with people that you could have a conversation and talk about politics, then we need to emphasize the importance of the down ballot voting, and getting not only Kamala Harris in as president, but her party, which is the Democratic Party, getting her party behind her. And that's why we need those majorities. And that's why I always say, vote blue for all that's dear to you. Trademark Trucker Drive. All right, guys. So with that, I think I'm going to end it. I'll see you guys. Hopefully we'll do a members only Monday, Mom, show on Monday. Time to be determined. I guess we could probably do 9 a.m. Pacific time. I'm not going anywhere right now. I still don't have a car. The thing we were talking about, the saga, continues. Having issues with Hertz having cars available. And then I've been looking into other companies. So I don't know. I'm still dealing with that. But so I should be here Monday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, for a members only Monday. So just members only. And then Tuesday, of course, back to our schedule, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thursdays, 9 a.m. Pacific time and 3 p.m. Pacific time. And then Saturdays, like this, a week from today, back at 11 a.m. Pacific time. So that's the schedule, and hope to see you guys around in the chats and around town. And I just want to say, go Dodgers. Dodgers took 2 out of 3 in New York. So they will be home tomorrow and hopefully win and go to the World Series. All right, so I guess that's it. Thanks, everybody, for being here. We did manage to get Nick's favorites in here. So let me see if I can pull this up a little closer so I can reach the button. And all right, guys, I'll see you guys on Monday for Members Only Monday. So become a member if you guys want to. Whoever's not a member, you want to be part of Members Only Monday, you got to be a member. But in the meantime, like, subscribe, and share. And if you see any of my videos that pop up, go ahead and watch them. Give me a like. And if you do see that Harris Walls video pop up, watch it. I want to get the 300,000 on that. All right, guys. Thanks so much. You guys are awesome. Even Wes Webb. You guys are awesome. And I'll see you guys on the next one. All right. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Oh, don't forget to stretch. Stretch your hammies. Don't want to pull one.
Well, it's time to say goodbye. The show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry. We're all gonna come back and meet again. Have some fun times, hopefully nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about door chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hostile of Easter, baby, show couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who I try to kid. At least when I was out there driving, I could handle a skid. But doing this live stream, baby, has been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again right here on the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna do it again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream, this is where we win, right here on the Trucker John live stream. No, it's time to say goodbye, the show is coming in. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry, we're all gonna come back and meet again. Well, it's time to say goodbye, the show has come to an end. But don't be sad, no, don't you cry, we're all gonna come back and meet again. We'll have some fun times, hopefully, nothing too bad. We might talk about war crimes, might talk about Baghdad. I doubt we'll talk about gold chimes, but if we did, I'd be only too glad. So hasta la vista, baby, the show is over, but could I ask maybe to take a shower? No, that's not what I meant, but I couldn't think of anything to rhyme with over. Now my whole rhyming scheme is all screwed up. Oh shit, I should have stuck to truck driving, who am I trying to kid? At least when I was out there driving, I could handle the skid. Doing this live stream, baby, it's been a real kid. So I hope to see y'all again, right here on the Trucker John live stream. We gonna do it again and again and again, right here in the Trucker John live stream. Yeah, the Trucker John live stream. We're gonna come back and do it all again. No, this ain't no dream.